I love hanging out with you, and I think the kids really enjoy hanging out together, hey?
Yes, we should make this a regular thing.
What, you mean like learning how to start a homeschool co-op or something?
Yeah, I'll go and give Rebecca Deverett a call and ask her what a homeschool co-op is, find out a little bit more about it, and then perhaps we can get started. This coffee is dreadful.
Great questions, ladies. Well, let's start with the first question, which is, what is a homeschool co-op? Very simply, a homeschool co-op is when a bunch of home educators get together so they can teach a series of subjects together. These subjects could be fundamental subjects like math and English, but they could also be unusual subjects that a lone home educator might find difficult to teach. Some activities you might find in your local homeschool co-op include history courses, debating sessions, English classes, foreign language classes like French, Italian, Latin, German, science classes like biology, chemistry, astronomy. You could also teach mathematics, gym classes, field trips with nature study, one of my favorites, robotics or coding classes, art classes, drama where children make plays, and filmmaking courses. Parents could either hire a tutor or they could go on a rotating roster where one parent teaches a different week and they rotate different subjects. Now, I have a freebie master template to help you as you guide your homeschool co-op as it forms. This will save you a lot of time and hassle in the future, so make sure you grab that freebie below. Details on how to get that are down below. But let's chat about the benefits of a homeschool co-op. Firstly, you can make boring subjects come alive. Co-op teachers are usually more passionate about a subject than you might be if you were teaching all of them. For example, in our co-op, we have a lady who loves to dance and she loves to do gymnastics, so she's going to take the gymnastics classes. Or you might have somebody who is a Latin nerd and she could teach Latin. The second benefit of a homeschool co-op is that there's socialization for you. You can get support and you can get homeschool mentors who will walk you through the FAQs that you may have along the way. Thirdly, there is socialization for your kids as they learn the social norms of the society we live in, and that's really important. You can also make lifelong friends, and me as a homeschool graduate, I do have lifelong homeschool friends from the homeschool group I grew up in. As we mentioned, you can also get a homeschool mentor to support you. Then there's just time for you to relax and have a cup of tea while you know your children are getting educated to boot. And of course, homeschool co-ops are a great place for you to teach those subjects you really don't want to teach. For example, Latin.
Look, I hate Latin personally, but Pat, if you want to teach it, then I reckon we should include it as a subject then.
Well, yeah, I think it could be a good idea, but I'm not that fussed. Oh, you finished your coffee. I'll get up and make you another one.
Okay.
Homeschool co-ops can vary a lot. Some can be really relaxed where you're just meeting in a friend's home and a few mums are rotating responsibility for teaching various subjects. Or you could have a more complicated one where you're meeting in a community hall or in a church and you have trained teachers and they're teaching various subjects. And it's fantastic if you can find a good homeschool co-op that matches your vision and desires. But sometimes you can't find any homeschool co-ops, and that's when you should make your own. This is sometimes an even better idea than joining one because you can tailor the group to your family's needs. You won't have to worry about a co-op that's just not a good fit for you. But the downside is that it could take more of a time commitment and you might feel like you're reinventing the wheel if there's a perfectly good co-op around you anyway. But let's say you have to create a homeschool co-op because there are none around you. What do you do then? First, you want to head to the description box below and download that freebie document. It's going to be your best friend. And then you want to start brainstorming what your homeschool co-op is going to look like. All of these questions are on the document, so you don't have to remember too much. Think about, do you want the group to be more for the academic needs of your children or perhaps more for a social outlet? Do you want it to be a bit of a book club where children can discuss academic subjects they're doing and books they're reading? Do you want there to be field trips in your homeschool and what can they look like? In short, write down everything you would like to see in your dream homeschool co-op. This will ensure you know what you're looking at before you begin. Because after all, there's nothing worse than spending hours starting your own homeschool co-op only to find you loathe being a part of it. Then you want to talk to some other homeschool families you know and ask them, do you want to be a part of my homeschool co-op? Or do you know any other families who might want to be a part of our homeschool co-op? If you do this, then you get a chance to try and make a homeschool group with like-minded individuals. But how do you run a homeschool group, Rebecca? By the way, if you are new to homeschooling, then you're going to want to check out the homeschool parenting program that is run by me. It is for new or newish homeschool parents. In it, you'll learn the fundamentals of homeschooling so you can start your homeschooling journey running. Okay, but let's get to how do you run a homeschool co-op. Firstly, you need to figure out how formal you want the thing to be. Now, there are a couple of ways of doing this. You could write up a whole big long document and then get the new people who are coming into the group to sign it. But if this scares the jabibis off you, then you could just go with the flow and then hope it works out. Now, this sounds really negative, but it's really not. In fact, it's what I'm doing with my own homeschool co-op. And it's working beautifully at the moment because there's only 3 of us families together in the co-op. We also cater for quite a young age group, and that means we can do craft and nature walks together and other things that are appropriate for their age. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed, then I'd like you to smash that subscribe button because we're going to be talking about more issues related to homeschool co-ops and starting homeschooling in the near future. Then you want to have a think about leadership. It often helps to know who is ultimately in charge of the group. Does the instructor have full control over their lessons? What happens if there is a conflict of interest? With leadership, there's no one correct answer, and there are a lot of homeschool co-ops that are run by one person, and there are a lot of homeschool co-ops that are run by communities. Next, you want to think about time and location. Where are you going to meet? Well, usually one of the person's homes is a great option. Otherwise, if you have a larger group, you can hire a community hall or a church. If you're meeting in different places or perhaps you're going out for field trips, it's a great idea to put these down on the spreadsheet linked below. Next, think about members. Now, I can't tell you how important it is that you get members who have similar interests to you and your family. For example, what if you join a homeschool co-op that caters for high school children, but you have primary school children? They're just not going to do a good job of fulfilling the educational need you have in your home. You'll also want to think about how you communicate with each other so some members don't miss out on communication. For example, if you choose to communicate via a Facebook group, will all of the members have Facebook? I know that's been a problem in our one. So make sure you agree on a communication method that you're all comfortable with. To finalize your homeschool group, you'll firstly want to figure out who the homeschool members will be. Then you'll want to assign a class or topic for each parent to teach, and then you'll want to work out the textbooks and supplies you'll need for each class. Simply, the better planned you are, the more likely your homeschool co-op will be a success. Now, as you're filling in your homeschool co-op document, don't forget to include a camping trip or 2. This can be a great way for you to bond together with other homeschool families as well as your own family.
We should really grab that guide on how to start homeschooling below, hey?
Yeah, definitely.
And I really wanted to ask you if you knew anything about indoor plants because all of a sudden these ones have started to die.